Welcome to the California Educators Together podcast. California Educators Together is an initiative from the California Department of Education that is fostering a community of practice designed to provide educators, administrators, and specialists a common space to communicate, share strategies, and access free resources. Our team is leading lesson design institutes virtually and across the state of California, where we are paying teachers to develop lessons. On this podcast, you will listen to diverse hosts and guests from across the state as they join our platform and create lessons and resources for all California educators. Set the stage first with just kind of the background. I'm invited to go view lessons and record them through Dr. Alec Barron from the San Diego Science Project. And so I'm excited because I get to see classes outside of the area that I'm from. I work in the Kern County area. And then I proceed to have one of the funnest and most engaging days because I don't get to see just one amazing teacher, I get to see two amazing teachers. And then kind of the culture that dynamic, feeling and synergy and learning environments provides. So without further ado, I introduce the fantastic Kelsey Peltzer and Samantha Stickley from San Marcos Middle School, and they were participants in our Lesson Design Institute in San Diego, and you can also see their work on the platform through some video demonstrations. Do you want to start out with introducing yourselves first?
Sure. I'm Samantha Stickley. I'm the seventh grade science, or one of the seventh grade science teachers at San Marcos Middle School and department chair.
And I'm Kelsey Peltzer, and I'm mostly sixth, sometimes seventh grade teacher at San Marcos Middle School.
And all around amazing educators. So let's start first. Let's talk about equitable lesson design and delivery because that's really what pulled me in. And I want to start by asking, what has been one of the most impactful lessons or units that you've worked on and delivered?
So we are teaching Open SciEd lessons in our classroom, and we were talking about a sixth grade unit and a seventh grade unit that we found the most impactful for each grade. I was talking about the weather unit, which is the third unit in sixth grade, and I think it was really impactful because at that point in the year, we have gone through so much with our students and built so much with them that when we get to this unit, first of all, the phenomenon is really engaging. The kids are really interested in ice falling from the sky, especially here in San Diego when we have really mild weather. We still experience that, and the kids pick up on that really quick and they get excited about it. And then once we start to get into the investigations, we're going through some really deep content, and the kids are just getting it. Like after we've done all of this work with them in the first two units, they use all that to then help them to start explaining this phenomenon. And it's just really rewarding for me as a teacher when I see this happening, because the kids almost don't even realize it. They don't realize all of these skills that they have built and are using right before my eyes, and it's just really exciting. Like one example is just density. It's a really hard concept. I think it's hard for adults. And when I teach this unit, my kids get it so quickly because of all the work that we've done, and it just clicks for them. And it's really rewarding.
That's one of the things I noticed because we got to see a lesson progression, and then we also got to see kind of a snippet of what was happening within the classes. And the way that those units build up, it's almost kind of like a storyline.
So I was kind of talking about a seventh grade unit, and the seventh grade unit that I was focusing on is McKenna. And this is the second unit that we teach. And so now they're bringing, what's really great is because I have her as the sixth grade teacher, so they're bringing all their ideas from sixth grade, and now they're starting to integrate them into the seventh grade units. Like, oh yeah, in Miss Peltzer's class I learned this, right? So they can bring their ideas about density. Oh yeah, I did that. But what I really like about the McKenna unit is the phenomenon is this girl McKenna, she's sick. And they have to become doctors almost in the class, and they have to figure out, well, why is McKenna sick? What's wrong with her? And my students because we're talking about equitable practices, can make so many connections because we've all been sick. And just to hear them even to begin to investigate this phenomenon, they start to make connections to video games that they play. And so they'll talk about like, oh, this is like when I do this in this video game, and it's like I jump, 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 and then I start to slow down. And it's amazing how many connections they can make, and then they're invested in that, and they're asking these questions and driving the units forward. And it's really about the sense making that they're doing together within that group. It's not me telling them what to do. They drive that unit, that learning forward through their questions, through their investigations, to then come back and explain the phenomenon, which I think is really that equitable piece.
So one of the parts that just kind of floored me was the breadth of different types of activities and collaborative structures in which you had students working. And I mean, there were times where they're working in groups, they're working together. There's kind of like a large whole class circle going on. And I know that, that's, in a way, we're seeing the end product. What does it look like to get your students to work in those type of dynamic learning environments? Like, how do you set up norms and expectations with lessons? And maybe even thinking about it through the lens of, back to school. Teachers, classes are coming up again here pretty soon. What does that look like on day one?
So I think my day one is different every year, but I always try to do science, like right away, right at the beginning. For example, this year I'm going to do something called sound cups. So I'm going to give them cups, and they're like two red solo cups, and they're put together. And when you shake them, they make a sound, and they're going to have to find their sound partner. So it's, you can't see what's inside, but somebody else, when we shake them, they're going to make the same sound. And then I'll give them a tray from which they have to engineer a third cup, a third sound partner that matches theirs. So they're getting to know each other, right? It's not, oh, I'm looking for my friend, or to feel comfortable within the classroom. I'm pushing them out of their comfort zone, but like in a fun way. Like I'm allowing them to have those experiences, especially as middle school students. Like it's not that they don't have it. They're trying to figure out who they are. And if they don't feel cool, if they don't feel like they fit in, they're not going to just walk up to somebody else. And I don't think that you even have to feel cool or feel like you're going to fit in. It's, I don't know you, so I don't want to talk to you. So I'm kind of like trying to break down that wall. I'm trying to get them to see from a perspective that we all have a voice within this classroom, and it doesn't matter who you are or where you came from. We belong together here. So they're going to use this sound partner activity to start to get to know other people in the classroom, but also they're doing science, right? They're going to engineer something right away, and they're going to be able to take this and then move those ideas forward.
Yeah, I think no matter what happens on the first day of school, I definitely think it needs to be like engaging in science and something that's going to pull them in. But I think we're always, from the very beginning, we're thinking about like, we need to get these kids to collaborate. We need to start from day one that you're going to be talking to each other. Because that can be so different from what's been expected of these kids so far in their education and what will continue to be expected of them. It can be really different from other classes. And when Sam was talking, I was thinking about like middle schoolers, and they're used to social interactions.
Yes.
And now we're asking them to do that in like an academic perspective, which then makes them, most kids just want to just close off. Like they can't do it. So I think we're trying to think about how do we get kids to bridge that. And once we get there, once we get to kids having conversations, it is like magic, because once they see that they can have these conversations, then they really start to have those sense-making discussions in their classroom. So I think from day one, it is about let's talk to each other. Let's get to know each other, and it has to be like low stakes. Let's do these other activities where we're starting to find our voice and get to know each other, so that when we move into these more academic discussions, we have those relationships at least starting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's moving from that I to the we. We've learned together.
I like it.
We figure things out. Science is a team sport.
I like it. I like it. So so to give you some context here, we're putting this together as part of a kind of a little back to school pack, and I like the emphasis on the we, on the collaborative, so that first day you set the stage for us, right? And then the Dr. Barron, when we spoke with him, his advice was, day one you're a scientist. Day one when you come in here you're the scientist. And so I think looking at those two together, it's setting that stage for a teacher, whether you're a new teacher or a veteran teacher you're looking for, how you're going to start. It's day one, you're a scientist. No. Day one, we're scientists. And this is a community of scientists. So I really like that. But I think that also, I think both of you talking about that collaborative aspect also speaks to what I've seen out of you two, which is you are both thought partners and collaborators. So if you can talk a little bit about the importance of having a thought partner or a collaborator, and I'm speaking to this from the sense of I'd often hear, as a teacher, I'd often hear, you don't want to suffer in silence. You want to work with other people. You want to connect with other people. And then this is kind of an ideal situation here. And so if you could share a little bit on just the importance of having a thought partner or a collaborator.
Yeah, I mean, when I was coming in as a new teacher, I mean, it's so much, like there's so much you're trying to do. And then even as a more experienced teacher, there is so much you're trying to do. So having someone who has the same sort of I think big vision, I think that our big ideas of what education should be like are aligned. So then, you have big ideas of how do you get there. So the everyday, day-to-day, tiny little things that you're doing to try and get to your goal is just so daunting. So, our classrooms are basically connected, and we're just constantly communicating. And I think that having a partner for me too helps me take a little bit more risk. In trying something new, because I know that if it doesn't work, then I can go and talk through and two heads are better than one. We can think about, all right, maybe we change this, it can be better. So two heads are always better than one, I guess.
Awesome, thank you.
I think that it also provides a low stake way to get feedback. And I think that's kind of like what you were talking about. Where we can challenge each other's ideas respectfully, but that pushes your thinking forward. So again, it goes back, we're asking our students that it's a we. Well, we embody that together, right? We are our science department. We are moving our thinking forward. It's not just one person. When you work in a silo, and I think as teachers, that's kind of where we get stuck. You're on your own. It can become hard to reflect or to take those moments. But when we can open our doors and begin to work together, the change is limitless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like it. So it's that, I guess it's that safe space, right? You're creating a safe space, someone that you can share with and, take those moonshots, because, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
So if you could give advice for either a new teacher starting the school year or advice for a veteran teacher looking for new ideas this school year.
So I guess it depends on where you're at. If you're a veteran teacher and you're trying to do new things, look for like-minded people. You want to have some sort of net, right? We talk about these professional developments that we go to and we're like, yes, I'm gonna do it, but then you don't have the support or the follow through. So if you can find that support network, that safety net that's there, and maybe it's not at your school, so maybe you need to reach out on some sort of platform, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or whatever, to find that like-minded community in order to grow. I suggest that you do that. And for novice teachers, if you're just starting, try new things.
Yeah.
Try anything and everything, and if it doesn't work the first time, try it again, because now's the time to really take those risks.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think one thing for me when I was my first year teaching was my principal literally said to me, "Your first year sucks," and that was like, okay, even everybody knows your first year sucks. It's going to be really difficult. So I think just knowing that opens it up for you to try new things. Like not nothing. A lot of what you do isn't going to work, and that's fine. You got to try it. Like you go through your teaching preparation program, and there's a lot of big ideas, but it's nothing like when you get in the classroom. You're going to try these things out, and you're going to stumble, and I think what you really need to do is be reflective and just try and think about what you're doing and what went well and what you can do to improve.
That's awesome. So it's that continuous improvement mindset, right? Knowing that where you're at today is not who you are.
Yeah.
It is just where you are today. So thank you very much. I really appreciate both of you attending the Institute. Appreciate, again, the videos, the opportunity to see your work and then ultimately share it. What we have going on now is we've got a pretty good science section set up through the platform. We got the Open Science lessons coming in through partnership with them. We've got some of your videos. We have this podcast. We'll be having lessons coming through the San Diego Science Project there, and hopefully giving teachers an opportunity statewide to see hey, these are steps people are taking in the San Diego area, and ideally learn. So appreciate it, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.